good day and welcome. My name is Param and thank you for joining in. Those who are joining in today. कैसे हैं आप सब लोग? मैं हूं परम शिवम सिडनी ऑस्ट्रेलिया से ऑल द वे एंड फीजी इंडियन टीवी में आप ग्लूड है तो आपको वेलकम करना चाहते हैं. कहां से आप मैसेज कर रहे हैं ये भी ज़रा बताइएगा. और आज फीजी फोकस नामक प्रोग्राम में थोड़ा सा फीजी की जो करंट अफेयर्स है उसके बारे में कुछ बातचीत करेंगे. और इधर थोड़ी सी बारिश होने की संभावना है फिलहाल सिडनी में. इट्स अ लिटिल कोल्ड है. आपके देश में कैसा है, क्या हो रहा है, वो भी हमें फरमाइएगा. डोंट फॉरगेट टू शेयर दिस फीड. अपन दोस्तों के साथ आप शेयर कर सकते हैं और आपको हम वेलकम करते हैं जितने भी लोग इस फोरम में जुड़ गए हैं. प्लीज़ डू शेयर अमंग्स योर फैमिली एंड फ्रेंड्स सो वी कैन एक्चुअली गेट सम इंफॉर्मेशन टू देम. एंड हमारा यूट्यूब चैनल भी है फीजी इंडियन टीवी. ज़रूर उसे आप सब्सक्राइब कीजिएगा, फीजी इंडियन टीवी. आप पहुँचेगा यूट्यूब में और साथ साथ में जो ये पेज आप देख रहे हैं इस पेज को आप लाइक कीजिएगा और अपने तमाम दोस्तों को भी बताइएगा. और हमारे बीच आज all the way from Fiji and he's known for many things in Fiji and उनसे हम कुछ बातचीत करेंगे. फिजी में क्या हो रहा है, करंटली क्या हो रहा है. और जैसे कि आप लोग जान रहे हैं आज हमें पढ़ रहा था कि बा में भी संख्या बढ़ रही है फ़िलहाल कोविड की. तो उसके बारे में कुछ बातें करेंगे, क्या हो रहा है क्या नहीं, उसके बारे में चर्चा. मैं और रंजीत राजू जी ऑल द वे फ्रॉम फिजी. And welcome to the program, Ranjit. कैसे हैं आप? How are you today? Just one second.
Right. Thank you for inviting.
Welcome to the program. How are you? What's happening over there?
Thank you, Param. क्या बताए यार, फिजी में तो बहुत खराब से थोड़ा कोविड ला इश्यूज चले हैं ना. So that's everyone's talking about it ना.
Yes.
खाली फिजी में नहीं पर दुनिया भर में जाना है, सबको एक बारे में बात करें.
Yes, I think we are surrounded by COVID these days. Well, और how's the weather over there in Fiji? What's happening? ठंडा है, गर्म है, बोले विंटर है, सबको चाय बना के बैठे.
हाँ, फिजी के तो विंटर है अभी, जून जुलाई ना.
It's not that cold over there.
आज अचानक से थोड़ा हाँ, लाइक हम लोग के विंटर उतना ठंडा नहीं रहे.
तुम लोग क्या
बट अचानक से बट आज अचानक से गर्म हो गया एंड देन थोड़ा देर में फिर हवा चला एंड देन थोड़ा से चिलिंग ब्रीजी विंड रहा फिर एंड देन गर्म फिर हो गया. अभी देखो देयर इज नो ब्रीज अभी.
फिजी की वेदर इज सुबह स्पेशली अनप्रेडिक्टेबल ना. Fiji की weather सुबह especially is very unpredictable.
That's right.
Yes, welcome to the program. हमारे जितने भी viewers है जुड़ रहे हैं, please do share a feed amongst your family and friends. और आज हम बातें कर रहे हैं फिजी के बारे में. और रंजीत राजू is located. Ranjit, you are located in Suva, ना?
That's right. I'm originally from Singatoka, so that's western side. जहाँ पे weather और predictable रहे. तो सुबह के I've been here for about 2-3 years now, so अभी भी used to होता है सुबह के वेदर के. यहाँ जस्ती humid है, जस्ती पसीना भीगे.
Is it really?
Okay. अचानक से पानी बरस जाए.
Okay. I wonder why. I always wondered why कि इतना भारी वहाँ पे humidity है सुबह में. But now you're saying it कि it's more than any other places, which I mean it could be true. Could be true. Well, nevertheless, फिजी की समस्या और संख्या जो है बढ़ती जा रही है दिन ब दिन and a lot of people are worried. खासतौर पर हम जैसे लोग हैं जो overseas में बैठे. We are wanting to know what's happening in Fiji. So let's, first of all, I think let's hit up and see how many cases did you guys get today?
आज numbers, basically they delay the numbers, not delay intentionally, but basically there's a 8 a.m. cutoff, so which means 8 a.m. The cases that have arrived within the last 24 hours till 8 a.m. They'll get counted, and then the Ministry of Health did mention that they'll put it out by about 3 p.m. every day. So these are the previous 24 hours till 8 a.m. Put out at 3 p.m. But what we've been noticing for the last few weeks is that the results keep getting delayed. So last night's the announcement came at about midnight. So that should have come out at about 3 p.m. but it took so many hours. I don't know why. Um, but yeah, it came at midnight. Yesterday we had, let's see, 634 cases. We had 10 deaths. So
Oh,
yeah,
so the death is increasing.
that's right. That's right.
Kitna, sorry, I missed that.
Sadly,
Did you say 300 cases
yeah,
for today?
634.
634.
634.
So slowly going down,
Mm.
slowly, very slowly. I mean, compared
Ha,
to
ha, ha.
800, 900, no?
That's
So,
right. We
so
did
this
get up
is
to about
basically
800. Uh,
basically all over Viti Levu.
all over Vitilevu. There's a few cases in Vanuatu as well, but they're contained. They're in the quarantine facility, and these are for the quarantine facility was for people that wanted to move from Vitilevu back to Vanuatu.
Okay.
So they were supposed to quarantine, and I'm not really sure what happened, but yeah, maybe they did, maybe I'm not sure, but they ended up in the quarantine facility in Vanuatu, and then this is Malau Port. So they turned positive while there. So we have a few cases in Malau Port, but they're in the containment zone. So which means they are in the quarantine zone. So they're not out in the community. Hopefully not.
Yes.
And yeah, and the island of Gao, I think, has a few cases.
Okay.
I can show you if you want. I can share you the
Yes,
map.
yes. Let's go
I don't know
ahead
if
with it.
we.
I'll share the screen.
Yeah.
Yes, it's already sharing it now, so
Okay.
you can go ahead with
Already
that.
shared. Okay, great. Yeah. So yeah. So this is the dashboard that the ministry uses. It's quite helpful because it gives you a visual reference on the number of cases and where they are. So I'll make it big screen. I'll put the Fiji map of Fiji on the main screen.
Yes.
So as you'll see, they are okay. Let's start with Vanuatu. So basically, you can see the port of Malau, and there's a quarantine facility. So you'll see about maybe one or two cases there. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
But they do have a legend where they do explain how many cases exist there. And this is the island of
Go.
Gao, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a few cases there. And there's another island off of Vitilevu, which is the Bao Island. Remember, I don't know if you
Yes.
remember, it
Yes,
used to
I
be the
remember
Chiefly
Bao.
Island
Yes.
of,
Yes.
of Fiji. No?
Yep.
Huh. So it's right off of, I think, I'm not sure if it's the Nasalai beach or
Just
the
on the
beach in
outskirts of the.
Tailevu.
Yeah.
So there's a few cases there.
Look at Suva.
Yeah,
It's to the side.
exactly.
Oh.
And if you look at, oh yeah, so the majority of cases are on the eastern side, just like you said. They concentrate around the Suva to Nosori corridor,
What about Singatoka?
which is probably home.
So can you
Singatoka.
actually
Okay,
just
okay,
go
yeah. Let's go
along the
to.
corridor? Yeah, just go along the corridor, if you may. So passing Navua and along that corridor coming up to the western side. So if you could tell me where are the kahan pe, like which places does the army have this is for the overseas viewers they are watching that don't know. I mean they all love Fiji. कि क्या हो रहा है? So they must have
Sure, sure.
checkpoints, na? Checkpoints होगा ना?
Yeah, yeah.
Or some other people watching in Fiji
Ha, ha.
might even
So,
know. So the checkpoints
sure.
are
So Suva and Nosori is one containment zone.
okay.
So basically, we are locked down in Suva.
Yeah.
I can't go to Singatoka. I haven't been able to go to
Under no
Singatoka since
circumstances, health
April
reasons,
or
baby. Yeah?
mid.
You can't go under any
Uh,
circumstances.
yeah, if I don't have a practical reason, obviously, I can apply to go to Singatoka, but it has to be a special application, and I have to be in quarantine for about 2 weeks. But
Oily.
I don't think it's happening. Yeah, I don't think it's happening anymore because the cases increase. So I think they're stopping movement. But if I do want to go, then I have to quarantine for 2 weeks, and then I think I can move, or either I have to go to Singapore and quarantine myself for another 2 weeks. So that used to be the case, but I don't think it is anymore. So I don't think you can cross the border at the moment. So there are two borders for Suva Nosori containment zone. One is at Wanendoi,
Mm.
Um, so that's beyond, right outside of, like it's in between Navua and Suva,
Mm.
Wanandui. So that's one border, and the other border is at Longani. So that's halfway between Nosori and Korovo.
Mm.
So that's the other border. So most of the cases are within the Suva and Nosori sort of containment zone. And it's a good thing they haven't opened the containment zone, because if they did, then the virus would have spread all over Viti Levu.
Mm.
But we do have cases that have appeared in the recent few weeks all over Viti Levu.
Wow.
So I think these cases are under investigation. There is some sort of information on how maybe some of these cases left the Suva area.
Mm.
But I think there's a lot more investigation that needs to be done to find
Mm-hmm.
out what's actually happening. But maybe that's the reason why they've actually stopped all movement out of Suva and Nosori, for now.
I was hearing,
So
as I said, I
so
was
that's
reading today about
mm.
Ba having some cases now.
Yeah, yeah, and you'll see it appearing on the map. Let me see if I can zoom into bar. So yeah, so you can see so the blue dots are the new cases in the last 24 hours.
Wow.
The red dots are the existing cases. So yeah, there was some movement, and these cases are now appearing in Ba. There's some cases along the way from Ba to Tavua.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, some cases in Reki Reki.
Mm.
So there is some knowledge about how these cases appear to be.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Now,
and Lotoka has quite a few cases in the recent few days.
ethnicity wise, if you see, which ethnic group does it affect a lot, or who are moving? Which ethnic groups are moving a lot? Any idea?
Uh, you, tell you the truth, they don't divide it.
They
The
haven't
information is not.
taken any data out
Yeah,
here. Mm.
yeah. So I mean, it was. I think it was part of the government mandate not to include
Okay.
ethnic data,
Yeah.
and that hasn't been the case for a while now. In sort of a lot of cases that we've noticed before.
Mm.
So I mean, I hear stories of people
Mm.
from both the two major races contracting the virus.
Mm.
So I wouldn't say it's specific to just one race. It's common. This affects everybody.
And are people taking this serious? Are they taking it
They
serious or not?
are. I mean, I'd say they are, but I think a lot more people need to take it even more seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been wearing masks every time I leave the house, and it's not practical. I sometimes forget to pick up my mask before I leave the house,
Mm.
so I have to come back to the house and pick up the mask and then go back out again. And I've even bought a face shield.
Yes,
I've
I
even bought
saw
a
the
few types
picture.
of face shields.
I saw
So
the picture.
yeah, yeah. So I feel good about protecting myself. I feel
Yeah.
it's very important, and I also feel like it's important to show people that you need to really protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm wearing a shield, that also gives that. I'm hoping that it gives a message out to everyone that's saying you really need to protect yourself. It is out there. There could be people walking right alongside you who have
Mm.
the virus,
Yes.
and I was reading reports from Australia
Mm.
that said that there's a person who contracted the virus
Mm.
at a train station, and that
Yes.
that person probably walked by another person who was positive, and they only maybe were around each other for 5 seconds.
Yes. It's
So
doesn't take long.
it's yeah,
Now
yeah,
in
yeah.
Fiji, खासतौर पर जो our system in Fiji is such that hey, कैसे, how are you, greeting and meeting is quite it's quite common for people.
Hmm.
Even I've seen people hitting each other now with a knuckle instead of shaking a hand with knuckle. I've seen
Yeah,
those
fist
videos.
bump. Yeah.
So that's actually doesn't mean anything because you are still touching each other, and that's a very good
Mm,
means of transporting the virus to the next person. So they say isolate. यहाँ पर तो isolate
mm,
होती ही नहीं है. So I think people need to
mm,
understand that this COVID is not
mm.
going anywhere. It is not going anywhere any
I
sooner at all. there's many variants are coming, मैंने कि लोगों को ये बताना चाहिए कि या जान लेना चाहिए कि it's not gonna finish.
mm,
And I don't think,
mm.
personally, I
Uh,
don't think it'll gonna finish in 1 year or 2 year even, because the variants are coming.
mm,
There's always a tourist
mm,
resort है Fiji ना, तो
mm.
people will
आदत
always fly
बनाने
in.
लग पड़ी ना.
हाँ.
हाँ, आदत तो बनाने लग पड़ी.
And obviously, hopefully, और
Well,
कम आदत नहीं रही जो पूरा mass facial leg चले पड़ी, no? The way we are, I mean, you are coming, no? Hopefully, it doesn't resort to
yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, borders band hai. So the best thing is ki border band hai. So
Yeah.
which means there's no international flights. Na? I mean, there are flights, but it is for only for freight and supplies. Na?
And I
So
rang up for a flight to fly back, to fly to Fiji. My mom was unwell. So, I mean, I've been vaccinated and I've got a vaccination passport as well. And they said to me, only on health reasons and only Fiji citizens can come in. Agar they went overseas for a treatment or if they're stuck over there, they can only come in. No other reasons you can come in. So basically, that's it. No one flies in. Now, what's happening with the hotels? That all those hotels that were around Nandi, Denarau. I mean, many businesses were on there. Hotels or tourists se chale. Unka kya hua hai? What's happening with these guys? Are they still operating or closed, or are they used as quarantine centers? What's happening?
So since March, no, April last year, things have really slowed down. They say basically borders closed down, hotels basically closed down. There was there were no tourists coming.
Yeah.
So they did open up hotels after a few months to cater for local sort of demand, local tourists, no? Which was a nice initiative, I think, because you could go to like a 5-star like the Intercontinental or Sheraton and stay there for a minimal fee that will never be able to afford when
When in
during the peak
busy
tourism
times,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah, of course.
yeah. So busy times, yeah. So that was a good opportunity. So the hotels did open up for that, and it was nice because you could they could employ the locals,
Yeah.
so they did provide for employment for the locals while the local tourists were moving around with Levu, and quite a few people took advantage of the situation and visited places that they wouldn't have even dreamt of visiting. So which was very nice, because it provided for employment, and it provides for money, because the West has been really hard hit all the way from April. The Suva Nosori sort of central corridor has always been sort of open. They did close down for a few weeks. I was in Singatoka then, so Suva also closed down for 2 weeks, but that was just a short span. So it opened up, and then business was normal. I mean, we still were protecting ourselves. People were still protecting themselves with masks, or hand sanitizing, which was a nice practice that I could see that people were following. And
So the
then
mask is
and
readily
then the
available.
second wave hit.
Mask is readily available. You can go to
It
any
is.
shop and buy it.
Yeah, it is. It is. In the beginning, they were a little bit expensive, but I feel like because there was a big demand for the masks, so people started importing. A lot of pharmacies, a lot of supermarkets started importing in bulk.
अरे napkin
So the
बांध लो
price
ना.
the price did come down.
Simple as
Basically,
that.
that was the recommendation from the ministry. Minister of Health was protect yourself somehow. Even if it takes a piece of cloth, scarf,
Yes, very true.
bandana, anything. Yeah, but cover karo, na?
Cover
And
yes.
people don't realize, but it's more important for uh, so it's more important for people to be responsible, meaning the covering should actually be done by people who might be carrying the virus, so that they're not spreading onto others. So it's a very it's a very big responsibility. So you have to almost pretend that you have the virus. So you wear a mask not only to protect yourself but also to protect
Protect
others, so
others.
you
Yeah.
don't spread it to others. So it's a sense of responsibility which I still feel is not there yet, which I'm hoping that it comes,
Because
because
I
that
saw your
sense of
post.
responsibility is very important.
I saw your post today. You said 1 in 40. I think you said there was
1 in
something
35, I think.
roughly one
Yeah.
in 35, 1 in
uh,
40 people are
one or
infected.
1 in 30, 1 in 30, those who that's based roughly on my calculations, based on let's just say 10,000 people are
Yes.
infected
Yes.
and these are, we know they are infected.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 10,000. And
Mm-hmm.
Nosori to Suva corridor probably has 350,000
Mm.
people.
Okay.
So, those two numbers divided together will give you, roughly one, every 30th person you meet
Meet.
could be carrying the virus
Traveling on the
or
bus,
is
you
carrying
mean?
the virus,
So the
according
bus,
to uh,
transportation, everything is open.
anywhere.
You can go anywhere within Suva
Within
corridor.
Suva, yes, but 50% capacity. Same thing with taxis. Same thing with the minibuses. Now, minibuses
Yeah.
are common modes of transport, um, and people are recommending people not to move around. Like
Yeah.
stay at home.
Yeah.
Like if you need to go shopping, don't take the whole family. Leave your kids at home
Yeah.
as much as possible. And even if you have to
Is there
go,
a law there
uh,
that you only one person goes out for shopping? Like in Australia, only one
there's no
person.
law. I don't think there's a law like that at the moment.
Okay. In
But
Australia, they're kind of
but it
strict.
is.
घर से एक ही
Yeah,
जन
yeah,
जाओ.
yeah.
Even
Hmm,
though
hmm,
we've
hmm.
got about
Which
80
makes
cases.
which makes sense. I mean, like people were thinking curfew. No?
Yeah.
Curfew. A lot of people are asking for a curfew or a complete lockdown, but it's not practical because people do need to go out and shop.
Yes.
And because if you have to lock down, it'll be a minimum of 2, 3, I don't know,
3
maybe
weeks
even
at
4 weeks.
least. Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
knows. Yeah, no one knows. So
Mm-hmm.
to support that, you have to give the people the ability to actually go out and do shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'd say we should adopt what Australia and New Zealand are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Both countries seem to have very similar rules, so it's something that we can learn off of. We don't
Yeah.
have to reinvent the
Of
wheel.
course.
Yeah, just follow the examples that they're using, and
Mm.
just try and make it work for our context.
And the government now, look, in Australia, I'm only saying what's happening here. I don't know what's happening over there. The government
Mm,
has actually said, look, the state government is saying, look, we will give you $300, 370, 500 something
mm,
dollars for people that have lost their job or are in minimum hours because they have to pay rent and
mm.
food and etc. etc. I suppose people will say that, yeah, of course, Australia can afford it. But has there been anything like that from the government? Any subsidiaries on a weekly basis? For example, you've got a family of five or something. Yeah, $50 की
So
voucher or something. Anything.
there's been some help from the government, like in terms of what they do is they use the mobile money sort of wallets.
Okay.
Like Vodafone has its own, Digicel has its own. So
Yeah.
the government sends money, cash, to these outlets. No?
Mm-hmm.
And then they in turn send it to the mobile wallet. So
Mm.
which means you're sitting at home, you put the application in, and they do send you money, but it's not enough really.
Mm.
They initially, I think it was $90, then it was $90 per household,
What
and then they
frequency?
switched to fifty
Once a
dollars
week
per.
or once a month?
No, it was a one-time thing.
Oh,
So
one time. Okay.
a one-time. $90 was one time. They did distribute rations to
Mm.
a lot of people. So what they did was they said, okay, it's $45 worth of rations. So they did send the rations to these people twice. So
Mm.
basically, they calculated, okay, if it's $90, then the
Mm.
people that they didn't send the rations to will give them cash $90. The
Yes. Yes.
families.
Yes.
So but then they said, not every member of the family can apply for it.
Mm.
Only one person of the household. So there was some verification process to see if only one person applied, not the whole
Mm-hmm.
family.
Mm.
And then after that, people did get the $90,
Mm.
and then they said, no, okay, great, that worked out. Now let's try and give people $50 per person. You
Mm.
know.
Mm.
Uh, even I applied because the conditions were, if you have been
Unemployed.
unemployed,
Yes.
or you have, yeah, haven't had any business or any sort of, I'm a business owner, so,
Yeah.
or if you haven't had any business for the
For a
past
while.
few weeks,
Yeah.
or some for a while, so you could make the application. And
Mm.
I did. I did. I made a mistake in the application because you do have to have all your numbers correct, and there's quite a few numbers. There's your EVR number. There's your EVR is your voter registration number.
Mm-hmm.
There's the the tin number, or there's the
Yes.
tin number, and
Yes.
then there's another number which is the FNPF number, which is
Yes.
your
Yes.
FIRCA or number. So I did make a mistake, but I think they got the mistake, and they did send the $50. It took a few days, but it did come. So I'm grateful for that. Every
Now
bit
tell me
helps.
something.
I
Tell me
didn't mind.
something.
Yeah,
People are sending
yeah.
money from overseas, or people are actually sending it to some groups back in Fiji.
Hmm.
Now, my question is, are these people actually using that money to actually really go in and feed those, uh, people back in the country, like, country area या तो फिर गांव में, are they really doing a job? Are they making, or are they creating
Hmm.
awareness so that people overseas can see we are creating awareness, we are giving it over here, rather than if they've got a donation of $100,000, for example, okay, not to take out the administration fees. Of course, there's some administration fees, but I'm pretty sure the government would be able to help in that, some sort of, if a truck is delivering a food of $100,000 given by some sort of organization in Australia. My question is, are those goods getting to those people? Because everybody is saying, "Usko bhejo," तो they जेब में रख ले पैसा.
Well, हम जैसे हमें भी ढेर जन अप्रोच करी ना, बिकॉज हम भी काफ़ी दिन ओवरसीज़ में रहा, एंड सबको तो पूछे कि हम कैसे मदद करें,
Yeah.
हाउ कैन आई बी इफेक्टिव, हाउ कैन आई हेल्प. So हमारा एडवाइस रहा, बेस्ट थिंग है, you find your family member, or your
सब
friend,
फैमिली के
और
में.
जिसके तुम अच्छा से जनता है. हाँ, जैसे अपन अपन फैमिली के तुम खास में अगर भेजे मनता है, the best thing is to send money, and mobile money thing is actually quite effective, because सबके पास मोबाइल फोन्स है, वोडाफोन आउटलेट्स, डिजिटल आउटलेट्स सब जगह है. So it's very easy to send the money through these mobile platforms, and हाली से पहुंच जाए ना, instant notification मिल जाए कि पैसा आइस की नहीं. And that's the best way, because they say people do shopping, and then provide shopping or rations to people. Then कौन सी problem है कि it's तुम्हारा choice की चीज़ नहीं है ना. They say
Yeah,
if you get
yeah.
some brand of atta that you don't use, some brand of rice I mean, rice is rice, I guess people can accommodate, but there's so many particular things, so some people don't eat some certain brand of fish, some tuna, sab koi sab rakam ke tuna nahi khaye,
True, true.
I mean, people are particular. It's
Yes. Well, I
we have
suppose when
choices.
you
So
if you're dying of
yeah,
hunger, then there's no choice, huh? भूखा क्या करे?
that's right, that's right.
Yes. जो भी
So
मिलता है, whatever
I mean,
you're given, you take it.
yeah. So a big government provide to kare hai rations to people that are locked down, na?
Yeah.
So which is nice, at least you provide for them, and then people will stay, But I've heard, I mean, I have a lot of friends. I talk to so many friends, so many people. तो कोई कोई बोले rations time पे पहुंचे नहीं, ये लोग चल दिन shopping करे, and बाद में जब results आए बोले तब
Yeah.
पता चला उन positive है. So
Wow.
that's a bit scary, but
Yes.
कौन सी करे,
Yes.
बोले test results भी थोड़ा देरी में आए, तो these people उन्होंने घरे बैठा रहा 2 days 3 days, खाना रन आउट हो गया, अब जाग पड़ा,
Yes.
अब कोई और तो आए नहीं, तो
Yeah.
कौन सी करेगा.
So
So
the bread shops are all
थोड़ा
open?
थोड़ा issues है, नहीं बोल के नहीं.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the bread shops are
हाँ
open?
हाँ हाँ, quite a
Pandre
few
wala?
businesses are open.
Okay.
हाँ हाँ,
And the big shops are
yeah,
open?
strict है, I mean, हाँ strict है. फिजी में एक केयर फिजी ऐप है, तो you're supposed to have that app on you, or basically you have to have a smartphone ना, then only app install हुई, and then
Yes.
जब app है, then you don't have to sign in ना,
Yes.
you can check in. So we have a QR code check-in process, so you can check in and you can walk right in, into a shop. Obviously you have to social distance,
Yes.
maintain
Yes.
2 meter distance, and yeah, you can buy your bread, because bread बहुत basic चीज़ है ना. सब कोई almost every day कितना के आदत है जाके every day bread खरीदो, it's fresh मिले.
Yes.
um,
पेट भर
so
जाना.
yeah. So, हाँ हाँ हाँ. फिजी में ब्रेड और स्वाद भी है, क्रीम बन जैसे क्रीम बन फिजी में जितना स्वाद क्रीम बन है कहीं नहीं है,
Yes, of course, of course. Now, we will be taking some questions towards the later part of the program, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your questions ready, and we'll try to answer your question as best as possible. Now, Ranjit, do you yourself know names of any organizations that you think people from abroad reach these guys, I'm pretty sure they'd be able to give you some help, take your donations or this fund or this fund. Are there a few organizations over there?
There's a few. The one that I would recommend, say, a lot of people to give to, which I've found to be very sort of transparent
Transparent, yeah.
and they actually give you good feedback. They actually make a notation of who they donated to. So you want some sort of record keeping as well. No?
Yes. Okay, I've just lost him. Lost him for a second, ladies and gentlemen. Those questions keep them coming, and while Ranjit, he told me he's gonna drop out for a second due to some reason. But anyway, those who are watching this program, do share it amongst your family and friends, because this may be some sort of awareness to those people living in Fiji, and cast out for those people that are living abroad. It's a message for us to see how and which way we can help these people. Now, yes, you can fire those questions. Keep those questions handy. And Avinesh Singh, you have sent a very lengthy message here to all of Barara Youth and Social Club with Barara Youth FC fans. Let me see. Ranjit is back. Okay, you're back now. I was just reading up a message from Avinesh Singh, who is from Barara Youth Club. He's saying that locally and abroad, far and wide, the committee are asking for any type of assistance you can offer to assist those players who need your help as a community, to reach out to them in terms of groceries, mainly to support them in the challenging times with their families and friends. So yes, Barara Youth Club, this personnel अविनेश सिंह ने वहाँ पर मैसेज पोस्ट किया है. So go ahead, Ranjit. Yes, of course, in pursue with that जो आप बोल रहे थे.
Yeah. So two organizations I would just say recommend. One is a friend Fiji.
Yes.
Facebook में उनके contact details है, या website भी है.
Yep.
Sashi Kiran is the main person there, and
Sashi
she's
Kiran,
done a
she's
wonderful
which
job.
which
In fact,
organization? Which organization is
friend.
that? Oh, okay, friends. Are they just
Friend.
friend or friends?
Friends.
Okay.
I think it's friends.
Okay.
If you look up Sashi Kiran, or if you look up friends, you'll see the exact address and
Yeah,
the
they're not
information,
associated with any
regarding them.
political party or any political agenda or anything. They're
No,
just
no, no.
very transparent, I suppose.
They're
Yes.
registered NGO, and the most beautiful thing is, in fact, they're recognized by the government of Australia and the government of the US.
I saw the grant
both
money.
the governments gave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So quite a bit of grant money was actually given to them directly.
Yeah.
So which is very nice to see,
Yes, that's
And the other
comments?
organization that the other organization that I have seen do a lot of good work is Sangam. This is the TSI Sangam Fiji group. There's they've got branches everywhere. They've got a branch. The main headquarters. Annalon the Sabagale. Annalon Nene mein headquarters hai, but Suva branch has been doing a lot of good work. Has been distributing a lot of rations, money or any sort of help. Sangam is been helping. And khali Annalon ke nahi help kare, sabke help kare, no?
Sabke help kare, yes.
Yeah.
And what about hospitals? They are closed, basically, is it? All hospitals are closed, I believe, because they're treating COVID patients.
The hospitals are open, but sometimes they do get a few COVID cases. Because COVID case aa jaye, that they have to sort of shut the hospital down. Na? But then, like CWM काफी बड़ा है, so सब ward नहीं बंद करे ना, just the wards that were infected. तो ये रकम से चले हैं, surgeries होए, the other sort of services are open, but it is taking a toll on the system. माने कि जैसे ढेर जितना बिजी लोग कभी नहीं रहा, अब उतना बिजी हो गए.
कोविड contacting.
हाँ, खराब से कल हम गया, I had to drive somewhere, and then I just happened to go by CWM ना, तो वहाँ पे tents दिखा है ना, so they've set up tents where they have maybe brought out some patients into the tents because overflow है ना, बहुत ढेर cases हुई गए, and then you've got your other जैसे other पहले से जो भर्ती रहा ना हॉस्पिटल में, तो उन के सबके देखे के तो पड़े, so somehow you know
Yes.
they have to accommodate just about everybody. So tents I say temporary, so that's working out.
Now,
Yeah, and then I'm just a Vodafone Arena. I don't know if you remember.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, I do. I do.
Bay में
Yeah, that's
वहाँ पे
used.
एक टेम्पररी हॉस्पिटल, हाँ, टेम्पररी हॉस्पिटल सेटअप करी से, दैट्स कॉल्ड द फीमेट, यू नो,
Okay.
सो इट्स लाइक अ फील्ड हॉस्पिटल. तो आई डोंट रियली नो द डिटेल्स ऑन अगर बीमार है तो कौन कहाँ जाए, बट बेसिकली दे डू हैव ऑल दिस सेंटर्स, दे हैव लॉट ऑफ स्क्रीनिंग क्लिनिक्स जहाँ पे इफ यू फील लाइक अगर कोविड है then you can go to these places and get yourself tested na? You don't have to uh, go to a particular hospital, but there are all these screening clinics. So ये सब details Facebook में है. Facebook काफ़ी ढेर यूज़ हो है ना, फिजी में बहुत कॉमन है Facebook, so government काफ़ी पोस्ट करे और ये सब details on their Facebook page.
Now tell me, is the army active at the moment? Do you see armies on the road or on junctions and centers jahan pe they have a little tent, or just basically police keeping the order?
Uh, both police and army are about. जैसे army के भी use करा जाए, I think at the quarantine places and also at the I think maybe at the borders ना, to help out the police. जैसे थोड़ा
Okay.
easy हो जाए ना, because
Yeah.
police force भी it's crazy, but
Yeah.
even police force में भी काफ़ी cases है. So there are a lot of
True.
like COVID cases
Yeah.
in the police barracks ना, तो जब police barracks में आ जाए तो काफ़ी जन sort of 14 days के अब वास्ते इन घरे रख पड़े ना, और
Yes.
barracks में रख पड़ी.
Talab
So
में नहीं मिली
obviously
ना?
they probably have to have support for तलब मिले हमसे सा.
Yes.
Hopefully I think leave wait हम लेके पड़े or some arrangement है.
There's another message that's coming here. It's called
But
Make a Difference Fiji is another organization which goes out and helps the needy. Renzi Snow Hill is the contact person for
that's
that.
right,
In
that's right,
Sudoka, I believe she's located. Huh?
that's right.
Yes.
Navua. That's right.
Nava, okay.
I totally forgot. Yes, Renzi is a very, very
Big time community
good person
worker.
to talk to.
Yeah.
Big time community worker. She posts
Yes.
a lot on Facebook as well.
Yes.
So jitna bhi madad kare, she keeps a good tally on where she
Transparency.
went, where she delivered. So it's the transparency here, accountability here. In fact, I just wanted to take a little bit of a time to thank all the overseas people that have been sending money, na? Not only to these NGOs, groups that are supporting, but also to individuals, say families and friends, because I feel कि जितना भी मदद करेगा तभी भी कमती है, because a lot of people need help.
True.
ना काम नहीं है, घरे रहे, savings बहुत रहा नहीं ना, people are productive, जैसे people मांगे काम करे, but
There's
अब
no job.
जैसे कोई बिजनेसेस खुला है, कोई बिजनेसेस बंद है, सो जब तक काम पे जाएगा नहीं, पैसा नहीं है ना, सो
Yes.
it's tough that people like I mean like people like me, I mean I was busy, but अभी जब busy नहीं है, even I have to dip into my savings, and
Yes,
I
of
never
course.
really had a lot of savings to begin with,
Yeah.
na? So
Now tell me,
because I invested.
Yeah, tell me what is the story of civil servants? I had a सूत्रों के अनुसार ये कह रहे हैं कि if the civil servants are not getting any jabbed, they have to go home. No work for them.
Yeah, that was a directive given by the government, na? Prime Minister Isra, Facebook man, and he gave it in his message, na, कि no jab, no job, basically, na? And that's a pretty tough call because अगर उलन भी काम से छूट जाए तब फिर कौन सी हुई ना, उलन के अभी जो पैसा आए उला भी चल दी. But then I mean I understand vaccination is important. I mean
Yes.
I totally agree. Everyone should get vaccinated, but people के थोड़ा time लगे to adjust to it, ना, because
Yes.
अभी भी ढेर unknowns है about the vaccination.
Yes, true.
So I think कि people जैसे जब तक educate नहीं करेगा, explain नहीं करेगा,
Yep.
and वही बात जैसे responsibility ला बात ना, जब तक
Yes.
अच्छा से explain नहीं करेगा कि kahe, why do we need to be responsible? It's not only to take care of ourselves, but to also take care of others, ना
Yes.
कि हम और कोई नहीं फैलाएगा. So vaccination जब तक सबके नहीं लगी, वायरस तब तक रही ना, but थोड़ा टाइम लगी ना वैक्सीनेशन के सबके लगते. तो what do you do until then? I mean,
Now,
थोड़ा harsh stance जब ले ले, then
yeah,
people भी resist करे ना.
yeah. Now, you know, in history, जब somebody had to spread a news from here, अरे सुनो ये हो ये, अरे सुनो बाढ़ आवे, अरे सुनो ये. Now we've got such a big media house in Fiji. We've got multiples of radio stations and television stations. Are they pumping anything? Is there a regular program where 6 o'clock afternoon or 6:30 में बैठ जा आज COVID patient के ही है? Any education going on rather than just saying jab or no jab or this and that? कुछ हो है daily basis पे?
Hey, which was a very welcome thing. I did see a lot of programming. John CFL, hai na? CFL has constantly been on the radio,
Okay,
trying to talk to
bombarding.
people, explain kare, na? Bombarding. There's a certain sector that agrees that people do listen to the radio and agree, and they do go stand in line. And अभी तो बहुत अच्छा हो गया कि drive through vaccination clinics start हो गए ना.
Okay.
So उला काफी convenient पड़े ना people के
Just drive in.
बैठे रहो, because just drive in. हाँ, पहले रहा कौन सी रहा, जैसे अभी हम ऑस्ट्रेलिया में नोटिस करा, जैसे अभी शॉपिंग मॉल में जाता है, बहरे से पता चल जाए कि कौन पार्किंग लॉट में कितना जगह है. हाँ, तो अगर वो रकम के एक सिस्टम रहता कि ओके ईला क्लिनिक में बहुत कमती आदमी है, यहाँ पे आ जाओ, और ऊला क्लिनिक में बहुत बिजी है, तो वो रकम के अगर लोड ला सिस्टम रहता, तो people would be find it convenient. जैसे अभी अगर कोई के वैक्सीनेशन कराए के and they go to a center and वहाँ पे ढेर आदमी लोग ने ढेर लाइन है, so you worry about other people there too, ना कि mistake से spread नहीं हो जाए या तो तो उला worry रहे ना. So to tackle it, वही बात है कि if there's a lot more centers where you can get vaccinated, then it helps people. एक जगह के बदले दूसरा जगह चल दो. But it drive-through was actually a brilliant idea, and I'm so glad that actually did it.
Obviously, there is an advisory to the government rather than just a health department. The health department is only subject to the education and standard and experiences, or they know. Fiji में कोई epidemiologist नहीं है वहाँ पे ना. There's no one there that can structure and do things ना. तूफान वाला में तो है काफी देख के बता दे. But
they do qualified hai epidemiologists, qualified doctors hai, public health mein hai na. And then I think WHO ke office hai, so which is I think liaising with Ministry of Health all the time na. So support system hai, nahi bol ke nahi, but I'm surprised ki the decisions that हाँ कि जैसे कि अभी देखो ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड में देखो अभी थोड़ा केसेस भी है, डेफिनेटली सब कुछ स्ट्रिक्ट लॉकडाउन पे चल दी. सो it's kind of like पता नहीं क्या हम लोग उलोन के एग्जांपल नहीं फॉलो करता,
because I mean 40% of the income is coming from around the Pacific anyway. Videographers, caterings, hotels, and rental cars, and lots of people. Ke job is bonded by Australia and New Zealand and the US people would come for holidays.
नहीं, I mean like obviously अभी तो movement नहीं है, but जैसे अभी एक वैसे देखो ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड में like भले कमती cases है, but everyone's under lockdown. अभी हम सुना Sydney has been locked down for another 2 weeks ना.
Yes, it's going.
You might have the details.
Yes,
तो भले cases कमती है, but the recognition कि it could spread has
break चाहिए लगा दो ना, put a break onto it straight away.
Exactly, यार. I do not understand काय हम लोग चीज करता नहीं है,
That's my question. I was coming to the question that was कि लोग के advisory कौन है? There must be an advisory council because there's limitations for health. इतना तो नहीं है बाहर देश की जैसे experience है, Obviously, Australia and New Zealand are closed. तो उनके advisory कौन है? Somebody must be advising them कि भाई do this. Do this, otherwise country डूब जाएगी.
I
I wonder
like I
कौन
don't
है
know in
advisory.
detail. Yeah, कौन ची करे, but you know, I'm also like I'm both confused है, you know, काय ई ला decision ले. In fact, हम like I've taken an interest ना, अभी तो मैं बहुत interest लगे कौन जोन ची हुए फिजी में, and I'm you know I'm in nowhere close to you know an epidemiologist you know or anything like that. I'm just learning as I go
This is
along
your
right
free
now.
time, so you're
But
making
what I've
use of the
seen
free
is
time, na?
हाँ, in fact अगर हम like I wanna see if I can share the screen again.
Yes,
देखिए
go
अगर
for it.
wait can एक second
Huh.
एक second एक
Get it
second
ready first.
वो हम लाइक करता है इला इला
Website.
website. It's called Worldometer ना. So this is where Worldometer अगर page okay share कर दो मगर.
Okay.
So ila page में कौन ची है, they get the information from ministry के you know
Okay.
I think यहाँ पे लिखा है एक second. यहाँ पे लिखा है ये मिनिस्ट्री के फिजी से सोर्स ली से हेल्थ ला वेबसाइट से. सो ये एवरी डे अपडेट है, जैसे रिजल्ट्स अनाउंस हो जाए इट अपडेट्स. सो एट द मोमेंट देखो टोटल केसेस इज 12,000
Fiji में.
and 666 cases so far total.
Okay. Okay.
Recovered 2,534 हाँ, और डेथ्स है 69 ना फिजी के स्टेट से. And if you look at the curve, बताता है this curve is mind boggling.
चले ऊपर जाओगे तो रे.
Like
Everybody's trying
you know
to.
सीधा
Yes.
सीधा ऊपर जाए,
Yes,
like
of course, steep curve.
like सीधा है नो. हाँ, इंडिया में देखो about 2-3 महीना पहले एक्चुअली 4 महीना पहले ये रकम के केव्स रहा कितना जगह.
Yes.
एंड हम लोग सब कोई सोचता रहा कौन ची है इंडिया में का इतना भारी केसेस अचानक से बढ़े लगा, यू नो. एंड देन दे सेड ओ ये डेल्टा वेरिएंट है, यू नो. तो फिर देन वी रियलाइज कि ओ वही ला डेल्टा वेरिएंट फिजी में भी है.
Yes.
तो you know the cases kept going up, and then हम तो every day analyze करता रहा कि कैसे ऊपर जाते हैं. But because India is such a big country,
Of course.
every area में different rates of increase रहा ना. So they
Yes.
divided into obviously states and cities.
Yes.
तो उस जगह पे थोड़ा और अच्छा analysis रहा. तो जहाँ पे बहुत जस्ती बढ़ता रहा तो obviously they had to have some mitigation ना. And the mitigation that they applied was lockdowns, you know.
Straight away lockdowns.
But
Yes.
जब हम लोग अपन हम हाँ, एंड जब हम अभी फिजी में जब हम लोग अपन केसेस देखता, इनफैक्ट हम और एक चीज़ मनता शेयर करें. इला एक टेबल है, इला जैसे दिस इज अ टेबल दैट हैज ऑल द केसेस इन द वर्ल्ड ना. पूरा टोटल से ऑफ द नंबर ऑफ पीपल दैट हैव कोविड सो फार, कितना डेथ्स हुई है, कितना रिकवर्ड हुई है. बट यहाँ पे वेट करना देखिए वीकली ट्रेंड्स. अच्छा, इला वीकली ट्रेंड में जब हम क्लिक करता ओके कंट्रीज में अगर हम क्लिक करेगा वीकली ट्रेंड, सो विच मीन्स इन द लास्ट वीक ना. अब हम इला में जाके जब हम केसेस इन द लास्ट 7 days, एंड दिस इज पे मिलियन पॉपुलेशन बिकॉज फिजी के ऑलमोस्ट मिलियन हो गए ना, बट 900,000 है. हम लोग फिजी के देखो वी आर नंबर 5 राइट नाउ, यू नो. सो इला वे देखो, you know, for Fiji to be number 5 in the whole world is a pretty serious thing, I think, you know. Which means हम लोग के cases are almost going out of hand, you know.
Who's leading it?
हाँ, अच्छा countries lead करे हैं जैसे ब्रिटिश वर्जिन आइल्स, बट उनके पॉपुलेशन बहुत कम थी. उनके पॉपुलेशन खाली 30,000 है.
Okay.
तो उनके जैसे like you know पे मिलियन पॉपुलेशन में अगर थोड़ा भी केसेस रही, बट इट गेट्स एग्जेजरेटेड बिकॉज छोटा कंट्री है ना. सेम थिंग विद द चैनल आइलैंड्स ना. चैनल आइलैंड्स में 175,000 है, सेशल्स में 98,000 है, यू नो, 100 almost 100,000. बिकॉज वहाँ पे थोड़ा भी नंबर ऊपर जाए तो लिस्ट में आ जाए. बट साइप्रस में देखो फिजी रकम कंट्री, फिजी रकम पॉपुलेशन है ऑलमोस्ट लाइक जस्ट थोड़ा जस्ती है 1,216,000 ना. वहाँ पे भी बहुत भारी केसेस है और बढ़ते जाए. नो इन द पास्ट वीक they have added 42%. हम लोग in the past week we have added 34%. तो हम लोग 34 जैसे 5th highest है ना in the world. So that's actually quite a big number. So looking at these numbers, you know, like UK में देखो अच्छा 20% increase from the last week. You know, that's actually quite big too in a big country. You know? It's a sizable country, 68 million. But आई डोंट नो, अभी हम कहीं पढ़ा रहा कि यूके में भी खोले मांगे, बट आई डोंट नो, ईला नंबर देख के तो हमने सोचा यूके में भी खोली, बट बेसिकली ईला बताया है कि
what is
ढेर
actually
चेंजेस
happening.
हुए ना.
Yes, yes.
हाँ. And I'm surprised कि Fiji में जैसे we only seem to have only one sort of mitigation strategy is vaccination, you know. I mean, besides the mitigation strategies that we already have, जैसे already, you know, you have to have the KFEG app, you know, you have to have masks on out in public, you have to, you know, sanitize
और ये
as
घुसा
much
नहीं
as
मारो,
possible,
टच
you
नहीं
know,
करो.
बहुत कमती घूमो, you know, जरूरत नहीं है घर से बाहर नहीं
So
जाओ,
no शादी,
maintain
no
करो अपन
शादी वगैरह नहीं
distance.
हुई अभी. No weddings happening at the
Sorry?
moment. Any weddings,
No
kirtan,
weddings.
bhajan, and all that used to
No,
happen? Nothing like that.
no weddings
Only
at all.
funerals.
No, no. Funerals be limited to only 10 people because funerals are super spread events. Na?
So what's happening to all those
So,
Nagona groups, bro? You know, that have daily groups drinking grog sessions. Have they been seen or found or been located? Ki ho raha hai, you know, neighbors crossing the fences.
well, they're not supposed to have it. So,
Yeah.
you know, they're not supposed to have it, but करे people, na? Because आदत है, but वो खराब आदत है, but नहीं चाहिए करो.
आदत से मजबूर तो
Because
है काफी
जब
इंसान वैसे.
हाँ, but कानून है,
Yeah.
there's a fine now. अब सीधा fine करे, you know.
Now
There's a fine for I think.
tell me,
Hmm.
you as a citizen of Fiji, I mean, you're not a expert into any of these things at the moment, and you just go, you're like another civil servant or you're another person, you know, in that nearly 1 million population. What is your view? आपका अपना विचार क्या? What is your view in that sense while you've been reading and seeing all these curves are going up and government is not having any lockdown? Why not lockdown? Are the business is going to suffer? Or what is happening? What is your view on that? Your personal view?
देखो कुंच हमारा पर्सनल व्यू is that you know cases बढ़ते जाए and every day बढ़े and हम तो बहुत दिन से independently like बोलता रहा लॉकडाउन करो and people like बोले नहीं सको लॉकडाउन करो नहीं मांगो लॉकडाउन करो खाना नहीं रही you know पैसा नहीं रही. I agree, yes, you know, but then obviously someone has to help ना, government has to help. but अगर वही जगह पे अगर समझ लो $500 पे person अगर दे दिया ना, अगर एक बात के मानो वो पैसा हमने इंता कहाँ से आई, बट लेट्स से बड़कना लोन कहीं से लेके पड़ा है नो, बट देन एक प्लेन कर लो, राइट, बता दो ओके यू नो प्लेन में है हम लोग मे बी 500,000 पीपल के अच्छा $1,000 रख लो, 500,000 पीपल $500,000 पीपल के $1,000 कैश देगा, राइट, कैश देगा. तो तुम लोग सकता उतना से काम चला ले फॉर let's say 3 weeks 4 weeks or you know अगर लंबा गए तो लंबा गए, बट नहीं भी लंबा गए, बट सकता उतना से चला ले कि नहीं, यू नो. बट ऑब्वियसली वो पैसा पहले से देख पड़ी और पहले से टाइम देख पड़ी कि तुम जा शॉपिंग कर लो, और अगर जरूरत पड़ा तो बीच बीच में सको जा शॉपिंग करे, बट वही रकम ऑस्ट्रेलिया रकम रूल्स फॉलो करो. एक जन खाली जाओ, खाली वहीं जाओ और वहीं से लौट के आओ, और बहुत दूर भी नहीं जाओ, जैसे अगर सुपरमार्केट यू नो घर के किनारे वही ला में जाओ. डिस्टेंस मैटर्स ना.
Yes.
और ऐसे नहीं कि भीड़ हो जी, बिकॉज तो मौका दे दिया पीपल के शॉपिंग करे के, तो एक लागे ले लीस, बट अगर नहीं ले पाइस रहा तो एक जन जाए शॉपिंग करके लौट के आ जाए. सो एटलीस्ट सपोर्ट बेस है ना, कुछ भी जरूरत पड़ा लेके आ जाओ. तो अगेन ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड का एग्जांपल फॉलो करो, जैसे लोन करे वही रकम से करो. इवन compassionate जैसे you can have a bubble with maybe one more person, I think for compassionate reasons. obviously अगर तुम्हारे पास एक गर्लफ्रेंड है बॉयफ्रेंड है, तुम मनता उसके विजिट करे, then you know you should be able to, you know, because that's a very sort of on a very compassionate reason. And कुछ गड़बड़ नहीं, because it's still a very small bubble ना. तो वो रकम से very small bubbles maintain करो. तो वो रकम से अगर हम लोग करेगा, then only I feel कि हम लोग आगे बढ़ पाएगा. बट जब तक लॉकडाउन नहीं करे, अभी तो काफ़ी देरी हो गई, बट आई स्टिल फील कि अगर हम लोग लॉकडाउन कर देगा तो केसेस वो रकम से बढ़ी नहीं ना, केसेस होपफुली कमती हुई. तो अभी जैसे अगर कोई और चेंजेस नहीं करेंगे मिटिगेशन प्लान में, तो केसेस बढ़ते रही, तो केसेस अगर बढ़ते रही देन यू नो तो अभी नंबर तो गिरा है, बट वही बात है, रैंडमली गिरा है ना, ऐसे नहीं कि कोई एक रीजन से गिरा है. ध्यान के फिर बढ़ जी और बढ़ते जी, बिकॉज एक आदमी तो इतना ढेर जन के फैला है ना. द रीजन सी काय फैले है, It's because businesses are open. There's a lot of movement. Na? I mean, I can understand, yes, we can't afford to have a lockdown because जैसे government पास उतना पैसा नहीं है. पर अगर एक प्लेन रहता, अगर जैसे एक प्लेन बनाता कि हाँ उतना पैसा देगा, अगर उतना पैसा कहीं से बोरो कर लेता है, कहीं से भी
वर्ल्ड बैंक से
कि ये प्लेन है. बट हम लोग जनता है कि सी उतने उतने पैसा नीड करेगा, उतना पैसा दे देगा, उतना हेल्प होगी पीपल के. बट एक महीना बाद एटलीस्ट जहाँ जहाँ पे केसेस है उला के अच्छा लॉकडाउन रहने दो. बट बाकी तो खोल दो. अगर बाकी खोल दे देन होपफुली पीपल के जैसे और प्रोडक्टिव हुई ना, जैसे पीपल जैसे खुल के जाए पड़ी ना कि ओके हाँ कॉन्फिडेंट रही कि ओके जितना जगह वायरसेस रहा हम लोग जनता कहाँ है, अब जहाँ जहाँ नहीं है उला जगह खुल गए. अब हम सकता ओपनली बिजनेस करे, ओपनली जैसे ऑपरेट करे. बट अभी नहीं सको ओपनली ऑपरेट करो ना, अभी तो डर लगे बिकॉज यू नेवर नो. जैसे आज हमारा कैलकुलेशन में 1 in 30, हम तो लिखा 1 in 35, बट हमारा फ्रेंड ने कैलकुलेट करी बोले यू नो रंजित मे बी बिकॉज टेस्टिंग अच्छा से जैसे सब पूरा इन कम्युनिटी में हो नहीं है, तो पीपल नहीं जाने कि कम्युनिटी भी कितना स्प्रेड है ना, कितना जन के पास होएगा कि उन्होंने जाने भी नहीं कि उनके है. सो एक्सक्यूज मी. तो अगर कम्युनिटी में अगर हम लोग टेस्टिंग करेगा तो हमारा फ्रेंड लोग एस्टिमेट करे सो मे बी 1 in every 10 people might have the virus already. So which is a huge number. I know it's scary, but you know कौन सी करेगा because it's not, see again सबको ही blame करे बोले people के fault है.
No, I think agar shuru mein, because the world leaders would have actually projected and said to them already, look, you control it. You got to control it, otherwise your country will be in debt. World Bank would have said, look, we'll give you this much money. On top of that, Australia and New Zealand and any US has given grants. तो government अगर project कर लेता कि हम लोग 3 हफ्ता के lockdown करेगा, for example, if there is a good projection, भाई 3 हफ्ता हम लोग lockdown करेगा, there is limited movements. अगर आदमी के लिमिटेड मूवमेंट्स है, आदमी काम नहीं करे तो ऑब्वियसली 3 टाइम खाना नहीं खाई ना, बिकॉज 3 टाइम काम नहीं करे लोग ना, चलते नहीं रहे. सो व्हेन द मूवमेंट इज लिटिल, योर एनर्जी गोइंग इट शुड बी लेस, हाइपोथेटिकली स्पीकिंग, कि 3 टाइम तुम हुमक के खाना नहीं खाएगा बिकॉज तुम कड़ा काम नहीं करा. सो यू स्टिल सेविंग सम ऑफ दैट, यू नो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. दैट्स ऑनेस्ट थिंग. तो 3 हफ्ता के प्रोजेक्ट करता.
People can adjust ना. हाँ people
और
can
फिर
adjust. People के अंडरस्टैंडिंग रही ना कि
Yes.
देखो 3 महीना बाद आई मीन सॉरी अगर एक let's just say hypothetically अगर 3 weeks या 4 weeks बाद खुल जी, but at least हम उतना दिन नहीं कमाए, अब हम कमा सकता है ना. अब हम
Yes.
अगर हमें भरेक भी पड़ा आई डोंट माइंड, हम कमा के भर देगा. इट्स जस्ट अ लोड ना.
Yes.
अगर हमें कोई बताए कि ओके तुम्हें अभी $1,000 देता है, तुम जाओ 28 days लॉकडाउन करो और हमें लौटारे भी पड़ी, आई डोंट माइंड, हम मेहनत करके लौटा देगा
लौटा देगा.
बिकॉज हम आप मौका
बवाल तो
मिले
नहीं
हमें
रही
काम
at least
करेंगे
ना.
ना, बिकॉज हम लोग सब फिजी में आदमी लोग बहुत मेहनती है, हम लोग सबको मनता मेहनत करे काम करे
So
ना.
going
बट
back to
वही
the
कि
projection, going back to the projection, going back to your idea of giving $1,000, for example, अगर 3 हफ्ता के गवर्नमेंट ऐसे आए के बोलता, look, ओवरसीज में तो $650 million एक साल में तो रिमिटेंस वी गाइस आर गिविंग, नॉट मी पर्सनली, बट हमारे जैसे लोग जो ओवरसीज में बैठे हैं, दे आर गिविंग. आए के ओपनली बोलता प्राइम मिनिस्टर ओ एनीबॉडी फॉर दैट मैटर कि वी नीड हेल्प. दैट्स ऑल यू नीड टू से, वी नीड हेल्प. हम लोग 3 हफ्ता लॉकडाउन करे, कैन यू असिस्ट अस. आई एम श्योर होता ये बात. मेक इट पब्लिक की वी नीड हेल्प ना, हमारे जितने
होता
बाहर के लोग हैं,
हाँ हाँ
unless
सब
look,
मदद करता है.
yes of course, I mean now अभी भी टाइम है, अभी भी now still is the time, because every week तुम कब तक पैसा भेजेगा अपने फैमिली के सपोर्ट कर एग्जांपल ना. send it and target it for 3
अभी
months and
देखो
3 weeks and that's it.
हाँ अभी एग्जैक्टली अभी देखो हम यू नो आई हैवंट वर्क फॉर अ व्हाइल, घरे बैठे बैठे स्टूडियो बना लिया, बट
But
काम
you, when
कमाई
you
तो आई
chew
नहीं है,
out of
बट
your
एटलीस्ट कुछ.
savings, when you chew out of your savings, what's going to happen, है ना.
हाँ हाँ. एंड आई नेवर रियली हैड सेविंग्स बिकॉज हम एज अ बिजनेस ओनर ना आई
Yes.
इन्वेस्टेड, हमारा जितना पैसा रहा हम अपन इक्विपमेंट में से स्पेंड करता रहा ना,
हाँ.
बिकॉज आई फील लाइक पैसा के बदले इफ आई स्पेंड ऑन गियर या इक्विपमेंट
Yes.
then that will make me more money eventually ना, than having money just sit there.
Yes.
So हमारे पास कुछ खास सेविंग्स रहा नहीं ना to begin with, because it's just the way I've operated ना. Because I think that अभी भी हम productive है, अभी भी हम maybe another 10-15 years हम productive रहेगा. I'll gain you know
You'll
through
make
my
it back,
investments.
you'll make it back, yeah.
I'll make it back. But अभी देखो अभी बहुत भारी unknowns है. अभी हमने नहीं कब खुली, like I हम
don't
कोई
know.
कोई नहीं सके बताया कि कितना
कब
दिन
पैसा
वायरस
आपके
रही.
खत्म हो जी ना.
अभी बताया कि सबको वैक्सीनेट या पता नहीं कितना दिन लगी सबके के वैक्सीनेट करते, पता नहीं कितना दिन लगी फॉर द केसेस टू गो डाउन. और लड़कन के कैसे वैक्सीनेट करेगा, लड़कन के भी सके पकड़े, लड़कन के यू कांट वैक्सीनेट देम ना.
There's
तो
nothing at the
उनके ना
moment.
तो कसूर है ना तो हाँ. तो तो there's a lot of unknowns. तो अभी से लेके अगर 6 months, I will be in trouble. हम तो बहुत lucky रहा. I didn't really owe. Like I was always very careful on not taking loans, or I didn't owe too much. No, I tried to pay out all my loans as fast as I could. तो हमें जैसे उतना trouble में नहीं है. But obviously हमारा भी rent, every महीना rent भरे पड़े. Every महीना electricity bill है, पानी है, these are
Internet and all
all,
the other
and groceries.
utilities. Yes,
Obviously
of
I have to
course.
eat,
And groceries is
utilities,
very
everything
expensive
adds
over
up.
there,
Na?
na? Groceries is very expensive.
Yeah,
Have they
yeah.
gone up in
So
price at the moment?
I have to be very careful on how I spend, and what I spend on. तो हम तो बहुत पहले से कट डाउन कर दिया. हम अपन नेटफ्लिक्स काट दिया, अपन हम जितना भी extra expenses रहा सब काट दिया, because I was like, you know what, I can live without it. I'm okay. हम अपन this is my जैसे अभी हम तारा म्यूजिक सीखे बहुत दिन से, and I know you're a gifted musician. I wish I was I could play some music, and I DJ, but I wish I could play an instrument. तो अब हमें मौका लगे कि एक instrument सीखे के, and
Wonderful,
अपने आप की busy रखे के.
Yes.
So I'm hopefully going to get into it. But वही बात है, how long can
How
I
long?
I sustain? How long can I use my music or whatever interest that I have to keep me going? And जब पैसा run out हो जाए, then what?
So the
तब हम
projection
पूंजी
is
करें,
at the moment
yeah.
it's just lying hawa mein ude hai. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Kab, because if you look at it, 800 cases, hypothetically, if you take 800 cases, okay, none of the neighboring countries are going to open your borders. By the way situations are, government यहाँ के भी government पैसा lose करे है. They are not going to open the doors, because अगर लोग पल्ला खोलिए अपन, he'll be back in a sec, ladies and gentlemen. Meantime, I will take some questions while Ranjit is actually coming back. So आपके जो questions होगा हम लेंगे. Sorry, apology रोशनी, that was a slip of a tongue. Not 3 months, but I'm saying 3 weeks. अगर 3 हफ्ते का प्लान होता है गवर्नमेंट के पास, एग्जाम्पल, तो 3 हफ्ते के अंदर सपोज वी कैन इंडिविजुअली हेल्प आवर फैमिलीज, अपने अपने परिवार को हम हेल्प कर सकते हैं. सो वी जस्ट कम बैक टू द 3 weeks थिंग. 3 हफ्ते तक हम उनको सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं. उसके बाद में जो होगा देखा जाएगा. बट अभी वायरस ऐसा है, उसको कंट्रोल करना ही है. While it's controlled for three weeks, for example, people can also get vaccinated, because the vaccines are coming from Australia and New Zealand in big numbers. Big numbers. So that
I
many
लगा
numbers
है,
है.
लगा है.
It's there already. So अभी तो सब हवा में है. Nobody knows कि कौन सी हुई, कि कंट्री कहाँ जाई, हम लोग के कौन सी हुई, हम लोग के 3 हफ्ता बाद काम रही कि नहीं रही. It's लिंगो में है ना.
सबसे बड़ा वही, हाँ, सबसे बड़ा वही प्रॉब्लम है. अभी देखो, अभी लकी है कि हम लोग थैंक यू फॉर जितना जन भी ओवरसीज है, जन भी पैसा भेजा है, रेमिटेंस ना, इन फॉर्म ऑफ रेमिटेंस, बहुत अप्रिशिएट करे सब कोई, बिकॉज दैट्स
कुछ
द
ना
ओनली
कुछ घर
सोर्स ऑफ
चले.
रेवेन्यू
Yes,
फॉर
of
अ लॉट ऑफ
course.
पीपल ना. एंड कौन सी इतना अच्छा चीज़ है कि वो डायरेक्टली पीपल के जैसे हाथ में आवे ना.
Yes.
तो वो पैसा एकदम देयर इज नो एडमिन फी,
They can
बहुत
budget it.
मिनिमल,
They can budget it.
बेसिकली
कि हम लोग
खाली.
ई तेल लेगा, वो रोटी ई लेगा, वो लेगा ना, नेसेसरी चीज़ के काट देवे लॉन्ग टर्म के अस्तिर ना.
हाँ, बट वही चीज़ है, जैसे एक लागे मदद करके लॉकडाउन कर दो, आई थिंक इट्स बेटर ना, और इफिशिएंट है, देन टू सपोर्ट योर फैमिली फॉर 6 months. 6 महीना कोई नहीं मांगे घरे बैठे. हम लोग सब कोई मनता कुछ ना कुछ करे. बट अगर बैठक पड़ा, हम लोग थोड़े सकता है ऐसे होप करे कि हम लोग को ओवरसीज से खाली पैसा आते रहे, अंदर हम लोग घरे बैठ के खाली
Yes.
बैठा रहो. हम लोग मनता काम करे, बट कब काम करेगा,
And also
एंड ऑब्वियसली वो जो फैमिली जो भेजे,
Yes.
अगर उन्होंने के भी वही चीज़ बताएगा कि अगर 1 महीना के तुम हमें जैसे अच्छा से हेल्प कर दो,
Yes.
उसके बाद में हम नहीं
उसके
नीड
बाद
करेगा
में
मदद,
मंगबे नहीं करेगा. Yes, very true.
हाँ
Yes.
हाँ हाँ.
But now,
So
tell me something. Complacency is another thing, ना. इसमें अगर if the government is complacent and are not willing to listen to people or anybody out there or any views, for example, वही तो मैंने बोला कि who is the advisory? कोई ना कोई तो advisory होगा उस देश का कि भाई आपका भला हो. You are sitting right in the center. As to how I see it from abroad, you'll be in debt to a country like China, for example. I'm not saying they are, but you'll be in debt with China, because US is in trouble at the moment. US कहाँ तक help करी? They are in big trouble. So what other countries are going to help Fiji? For monetary value के लिए तो, because they'll say, look, हम झंडा गाड़ेगा, हमें इतना जमीन दे दो. What's going to happen then? let's put that aside now.
Exactly.
Let's put that aside.
Hmm.
Let's let me ask you, what has the government done जो चीज अच्छा खरी से? I'll come back to the other expenses as well, because the more it's open, the more kids are involved in testing. Not kids, kids means testing के लिए
Kids.
साधन होनी चाहिए. टेस्ट के लिए पैसा खर्चा होता है. They are coming from overseas. They're not locally made. People are being paid overtime to run those tests. There's a group of people working continuously round the clock. I can understand that. There's doctors and nurses and blah 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 having sleepless nights. So it's expanding because the kids are going to spread. If the adults contain the virus, then the kids will not spread the virus. Okay. So हमें ये बताइए, I want to know, us rather than us giving our views कि ऐसे करना चाहिए वैसे करना चाहिए, has the government done anything good, for example, at the moment, other than giving $90 and $50? What have they done? Are they going into people's places? Are they going and finding out कि यहाँ खाना नहीं है, यहाँ पे ब्रिज टूटा हुआ है, यहाँ पे टेस्टिंग फैसिलिटी नहीं है, यहाँ पे आदमी के पास खटिया में सोने की जगह नहीं है? What's happening over there? Are they doing anything in that
अच्छा,
sense?
हाँ, in that sense जैसे अभी rations distribute करे, जैसे जहाँ पे बोले for people that अचानक से जैसे पता चला कि you could be COVID positive,
Yes.
so एक number provided है, you call the number, they'll verify and then they'll bring the rations to you. So basically the idea is घर से नहीं निकलना है ना, घरे
Yes.
बैठा रहना, हम लोग देगा
Yes.
rations, भले थोड़ा टाइम लगे, भले थोड़ा. So that's good. That was a very good sort of mechanism ना. Phone numbers है for people to call. I haven't, I don't know, एक दो friend बोले थोड़ा difficult रहा to get through, but finally they go through, मिला चीज, so which is good. तो ऊँची अच्छा है कि okay, at least you're providing for people अभी के आज दिन ना.
अभी के आज दिन.
Oh, these people निकल के सके घूमे लगे ना, I mean या शॉपिंग जाए, I mean पूंजी करे, जब घर एक चीज नहीं है, आइस नहीं, then जाए तो पड़ी ना.
जाके सौदा लायक पड़ी, yes.
तो at least वो चीज पे, हाँ वो चीज है. अभी जैसे सुवा नसोरीला कंटेनमेंट जोन अभी भी एक जोन है, बहुत अच्छा चीज है, because even though I mean हम अपन मदर के नहीं देखा 3 months ago, but that's okay. I talked to on the phone. अपन डोटक नहीं देखा 3 months ago, that's okay. It's better to be safe now than sorry.
Then sorry, of course. Yes.
So that's a good thing. हाँ, and then they cancel the जो movement रहा to Vanua-Levu.
Okay, flights वगैरह
बहुत
cancel.
अच्छा चीज है. Not only Vanua-Levu, actually outside of containment
See,
zone to go anywhere.
air and
बहुत
sea.
अच्छा चीज.
Air and sea
Yeah.
both, no? Both air and
So
sea.
you contain it within a place. So you control it better, na? So
They
I
did a
mean there
good
were
thing.
mistakes made.
They did a good
They
thing by
retracted
keeping
on a few
borders.
things.
शुरू में they did the border. Remember नसोरी से तुम अपन bubble में रहो. They good. अब काहे उठाई थी, समय समझ में नहीं है. That bubble was kind of fine. Why did they take that bubble out?
हाँ. Well, see, I think they took it out because काम ला रहे issues रहा. जैसे
अरे
अभी
passes लो.
काफी जन जो सुबह
Passes
काम
लो.
करे, नसोरी ला एरिया में रहे, या तो different containers में रहे, तो उला movement थोड़ा issues रहा ना, because
Yes.
basically they wanted to open it so that employment चले लगे.
Yes.
तो but I feel like उला भी again
Didn't
everyone
work out.
सब तो argue करे कि चाहिए रहा नहीं चाहिए रहा, but I feel कि अगर हम लोग वही लागे उला containment zones रखता, वही लागे लॉकडाउन करता, then थोड़ा easy हो जाता to locate and find out ना कहाँ पे cases है, कहाँ पे issues है, and then जब थोड़ा locate कर लेता, then open करता, way better. But अभी एक लागे खोल दे से तो बहुत खराब से spread बे. I mean मैप में आप दिखा रहा, देखो
Yes.
कौन रकम spread बे, there's no अभी आप सुबह में देखेगा, इतना equal distribution है of the cases, it's actually equivalent to where the people live. तो it's like both evenly distribute हुई है cases. जहाँ जहाँ population है वहाँ पे ढेर बड़ा बड़ा dots है, जहाँ जहाँ कमती आदमी है वहाँ कमती dots है. So basically just about every place in Suva is infected. ऐसे नहीं है कि कोई एक street में miss बे है, no? तो सब जगह फैल गई से यार.
सब जगह फैल गए. Something has to be done, and it's not just the big shots sitting there, but something has to be done. And I think in situations like this, everybody resorts to the government to make the decision, because Joby Gandhi, unfortunately, I wouldn't like to be in the power of a prime minister at the moment. Oh, whoever is running the country, I wouldn't like to be that, because it's a very difficult situation. Something new you're dealing with, which you'd never expected. You didn't project yourself कि हमारे पास इतना budget रही new due to natural disasters. The government, the history states कि अगर तूफान आता है तो they know कि overseas fluctuations and influx of help आए ना, they know that. So they cannot work on that model. They need a good economist, and I will look for a good economist, and I will interview a good economist from Fiji. I need to locate them because I don't know crap. Sorry for the language, about economy. I don't know economics. I don't have any interest of it. But learning it now,
हम लोग
if you
दोनों
think of it,
oh yeah
a good economist would have
see it's
projected.
important oh yeah it's good to have knowledge of things ना जैसे
Yes.
भले expert भी नहीं है but थोड़ा भी knowledge रहे तो थोड़ा जैसे
No knowledge is bad.
easy हो जाए to understand a lot of things ना
Yes.
yeah अभी देखो घरे बैठा है तो it's not a bad time to gain some knowledge ना about
Yes.
कौन ची
Yes.
हो है कौन ची नहीं हो
Yes.
है कौन ची गड़बड़ है कौन ची right है and it's okay to critique you know like a lot of people say तुम रंजीत तुम बहुत जस्ती critique करता है you know you're too critical of the government or this or that
Yes.
I feel कि you know in a democracy critique is important ना? Because see at the end of the day हम critique करता है so we improve on things so
It has
Fiji
to
में
happen
और
anyway.
अच्छा ही हुए ना
Yes.
हाँ जैसे कोई गड़बड़ करे अभी लड़कन गड़बड़ करे हम लोग डांटता है ना उनके राइट चीज बताता कि ऐसे नहीं ऐसे तो वही रकम गवर्नमेंट ऐसे नहीं कि सब रोज राइट रहे ना गवर्नमेंट भी मिस्टेक करे जब
Yes.
गवर्नमेंट राइट करे हम बोलता हाँ अच्छा करेस बट जब गवर्नमेंट रॉन्ग करे तो हम बोलता गड़बड़ यू नो गवर्नमेंट गड़बड़ करेस
Now,
तो
something
you know
that I wanted to know, Ranjit, if you know about it, then let me know. There's currently two parties in Fiji running the government. Okay, एक opposition है और एक ruling party है. Now, in a ruling party, for example, जो भी Fiji First है, who is the most educated person in there? Who is the most educated person? Or how many of them are with degrees?
like
Roughly. Any idea?
हम
Who's the?
स्पेसिफिक्स तो बहुत नहीं जानता है हम अगेन स्पेसिफिक्स नहीं जानता है there's a few ऐसे नहीं कि नहीं there's a quite a few
Lawyers.
learned sort of people with credentials ना
Okay.
it's it mix है ऐसे नहीं कि जैसे opposition में भी कोई कमती है या जस्ती है ना it's a mix of people but again a couple of things हमें इसे जना government में रह के वास्ते you have to have both sort of your qualifications
You
your
need, of
academic
course.
sort of qualifications also your experience na? And then with the experience comes wisdom na? And it takes a lot of years to be involved in governance na? To actually gain that wisdom eventually जैसे कोई जन बोले you know ये खाली book smart है और practical knowledge नहीं है in fact people don't realize कि you know हम लोग ऐसे कोई नहीं है Fiji में जो खाली book smart है you know हम लोग सबके पास practical experience भी है
Yes.
भले book smart एक टाइम रहा but practical experience आ ही जाए ना जितना भी involved रहो आते रहे so I wouldn't हम बहुत अच्छे से compare तो नहीं कर पाएंगे this you know I don't think it's a fair comparison education you know people get judgment of education
But you
is
know
different,
what?
na?
You know what? I see these things. I see these things still the same for the last 20 years. 20 साल से मैं देख रहा हूँ and I travel every 6 months. But जो 20 साल से मैं देख रहा हूँ बाहर देश से nothing has changed. You know, people are getting smart. Modern world है. You dress well. You do your hair well. नए shoes, नए styling. Everything is changing over there in the modern world. So why are we still not changing how to run a country? Country किस तरह से run होनी चाहिए? Let's take an example. For example, हम सीखते हैं. हमारे पास educated person है, personnel है, doctors and nurses and whatever. Train them hard. Train them hard so that you know we can be. I remember one day, one time, US dollar was same as Fijian dollar. Did you know that? It was 1 to 1. And you know it's very difficult because when you're comparing Australian was smaller than Fijian dollars. I wish those days would come back, but you know due to certain circumstances it'll never come back. But abhi bhi, I think now is the time. We cannot. I think abhi jo aisa waqt hai, we should not point fingers or blame each other. But there has to be some sort of a collective effort. Some sort of a collective
वो
effort.
चीज
Something has to happen now.
हाँ हाँ, अब फिजी में जैसे ढेर क्वालिफाइड पीपल है, देयर लॉट ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस, बट पीपल के जैसे आई फील लाइक थोड़ा दे फील सप्रेस्ड, जैसे ऐसे जना है कि वी डोंट रियली हैव द फ्रीडम टू एक्सप्रेस आवरसेल्व्स ना। तो जब इस
सोशल
सब थोड़ा
मीडिया है,
छोटा
सोशल मीडिया में
लिमिटेशंस में,
एक्सप्रेस करो,
तो
फेक अकाउंट बनाए के
जी
एक्सप्रेस करो।
हाँ 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 हाँ।
गेट द वर्ड आउट देयर।
आजकल हम देखता है काफ़ी जन एक्सप्रेस करे लगा अपने आप के,
यस
जैसे अभी हम लोग शो करता है, ढेर जन थोड़ा थोड़ा शोज करे, वीडियोस बनाए छोड़े ना,
यस यस
फोटोज छोड़े, थोड़ा थोड़ा ओपन अप होए, नहीं बोल के नहीं, बिकॉज टेक्नोलॉजी है, अच्छा है,
यस
नथिंग रॉन्ग विद इट, यू नो।
यस
हम तो काफ़ी साल अमेरिका में रहा, तो यू नो तो हम लोग जैसे तुम भी ओवरसीज में हैं, सो वी लर्न अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स ना, डेमोक्रेसी, जैसे जेन्युइन डेमोक्रेसी में इट्स गुड टू एक्सप्रेस योरसेल्फ ना। तो या फिजी में भी आए चेंजेस आए, नहीं बोल के नहीं, बट थोड़ा टाइम लगे, बट अब जना है, बिकॉज इला इला जैसे हेल्थ क्राइसिस इज अफेक्ट्स अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल ना,
यस।
सबके अफेक्ट करे,
I
तो
think
आई
the
फील
young
लाइक
one should
पीपल
get
आर
on
ओपनिंग
there.
अप
Young
अ
one
लॉट
should
मोर।
get there. It should be a young party, young person, young ruling people. जहाँ देखो सब जवान चले हैं. Because there are smart people in Fiji. I've seen even Fijian boys, they speak, they are smart. They speak the way they speak, the command of English. I've spoken to one of them. And I'm saying, man, these guys are smart. Hi, technicians hai. Some technicians are very smart.
बहुत है।
And they're hardworking.
बट वो ओह या ओह या अभी देखो ट्रेड जॉब्स ना, अभी ऑस्ट्रेलिया में लॉट ऑफ पीपल माइग्रेट हुए ना, आई मीन फिजियंस माइग्रेट हुए टू ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड, एंड इतना अच्छा अच्छा ट्रेड क्वालिफिकेशंस है, बट हमें तो वही डर लगे कि जैसे ही खुले लगी, यू नो, जब पेंडेमिक खलास हुई, a lot of people
Pandemic, if
will
Kalasi, bro.
think
Don't,
about
it doesn't
migrating, but
look
I'm
like it's
hoping
gonna.
but I'm hoping वो चीज़ नहीं हुआ है ना, so we have to learn how to keep our people in the country ना,
Yes.
कैसे करेगा, how do we keep people, तो it's very important, गवर्नमेंट के ये सब चीज़ बहुत सोचे के ना,
Or any government
तो
that comes into
काफ़ी
power,
ढेर
for example.
रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज है। हम्म, हम्म, हम्म,
हमें चाहिए एक प्लान चटा
या
करके फिजी आओ, दोनों पार्टी के बुलाओ, जो जो नेशनल जिम्नेजियम उसके खाली करो, दोनों को बैठाओ, बोलो तुम लोग अपने में आप
डिबेट्स
सॉर्ट
करो,
आउट कर लो,
या
डिबेट्स कर लो, बोलो बट ये लोग,
डिबेट्स करो,
country
या
is at stake at the moment, when anything is at stake.
या
Now I'll take an example, for example, just one example. When the World Trade Center came down, that was on the 11th of September. When it came down, everybody, कोई जात मजहब जो भी होगा, they all came together to help people. You must have seen those scenes. You must have seen those videos. And still to this date, Fiji में होए जब तूफान आए और बाढ़ आए, people go and संख्या में help करे. But now COVID is something new. I think the oppositions and the oppositions should get together. अपन अपन गुस्सा, अपन अपन इको किनारे रखो भैया लोगों, कंट्री के बचाओ, अपकमिंग पीपल के बचाओ, अपन लड़कन बच्चन के फ्यूचर देखो. आई थिंक दैट शुड बी what they should be doing, basically. सबके बिठाए के एक बड़का ला बिलो में नमूना बनाओ, टालो करो,
I totally agree, यार, this
and then
is
sort it out.
हाँ
Ask for help. Ask for help. There's about 90k people only
या
in Australia itself.
या
US, Canada, सब बगल. If you look at the statistics, there's so many people out there. Everybody would help. I proposed the idea कि if everybody puts so much money, we can buy Fiji. You know what I'm saying? We can buy Fiji. We can run. If you look at that, hypothetically, if you look at that, 90,000 people are overseas, okay, in Australia alone.
या
If they need to buy Fiji, कितना पैसा लोग एक जन के दे के पड़ी? यहाँ से लोन लेके वही 90,000 people, they can buy it. Don't you think so? Now we're moving ahead with time, and then we've gone over the time, my friend. And a lot of people, I think, seem to be enjoying this program. But it's something that happens. We'll do come back and from time to time with Ranjit and do what the current is. If I missed anything on the current happenings, what's happening with Lambasa quickly? Prison. What's happening with the prison? Any cases in the prison?
हाँ, मैप में अगर मंगता देखे, if you give me control, हम सकता मैप में दिखाए,
Yes, I can.
because हमें ऐसे लिस्ट में नहीं पता चले, but if I look at the map then पता चल जाए.
उधर
So
जाओ, नुकलाओ
if
नुकलाओ
you
के लगे सब.
if you if you look at those dots, I think
Numbero.
that's all Namboro.
Okay.
तो Namboro, sadly Namboro prison में भी फेल केस है,
Oh, that's
नंबरो
it.
लिखान भी है, एंड सुवा प्रिजन में भी ढेर केसेस है. तो देखो ये ब्लू डॉट्स रिप्रेजेंट करे न्यू केसेस ना, सो दीज आर ऑल द रेड डॉट्स सी सुवा प्रिजन, सो फेल केस है यार. sadly,
Sadly, it is
and I don't
our
know कौन सी हुए,
yeah.
but सब जगह है, like yeah,
Hmm.
there's no place जहाँ पे नहीं है ना. Mm.
Well, it's a sad case. It is happening and it is going, and the number is still 800 above that much. And I think to bring it down, it takes a lot of effort. It'll take a lot of effort from a country like Fiji, and I think mostly it will require proper governance. But then again, the governance is there, but if people don't follow, then it's no point. बाहर से हम लोग पैसे भेजेंगे, बाहर से पैसे लोग भेजेंगे. We can make noises. Government can only make rules and regulations. But certain rules and regulations will get us abroad. Will get us over there, ना. But वही चीज़ है कि जब तक जनता नहीं करे गवर्नमेंट क्या करी. That's another twist of a tongue. If you look at it, if everybody points their finger to government, ऐसे करे government, वैसे करे government, वैसे करे. So there may be some. As I said, I don't want to be in that position. I wouldn't like to be on that firing line at the moment, as a prime minister. So I think I'd like to also request those people that are watching this program, your families and friends, tell them stay home. I get angry when people around myself around here. I said, भाई घरे रहो, you don't need to go. बुड्ढा बुढ़ी वालों रास्ता देखता है, घरे रहो, काहे जाता उसके देखे. Stay contained. जब तक आप वैक्सीन नहीं लगाया, ऑफ कोर्स अभी वैक्सीन लगा लो, 1 साल तक आप बचे रहोगे. नेक्स्ट ईयर डोजेज दूसरा होगा. नया अभी कंट्रोल करना है within 1 year, I think. So nevertheless, let's move ahead with the program. अगर किसी के पास कुछ questions है पूछने के लिए तो आप if you've got any bright question that would save this country, that'll be nice if you can type in the forum there. And thank you for those people actually watching this program and sharing this program. And these are the current affairs in Fiji that is happening today on day-to-day basis, cases-wise. And I think if you see so many people are watching this at the moment, they all are worried. Obviously, they are worried to see what is happening. तो इसका हल कैसा होगा ये तो हम नहीं जानते. Day to day basis it can get worse tomorrow. As I said, the expenses are increasing because you will have to import those testing kits, COVID testing kits, na? All those things that you have to import. So it's all going to cost money, Ranjit. Well, I think you're running ahead
In
of
fact,
time. You're running
in
short
fact,
of time.
Hamantara
Yes.
Khali बोले कि thanks for a huge thank you to the government, Australia and New Zealand के government for actually providing the vaccines और ढेर चीज support provide करी से testing kits, testing machines. अभी OSMED doctors आए से, New Zealand से doctors आए से, and again this is huge help. हमने अगर ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड नहीं रहता, I don't know कौन हालत रहता है ना.
Yes.
Not only
Australia itself has
just amazing to see.
Australia
Yes.
itself has promised
So
1
अगर
million
मौका
vaccines.
लगी, मौका लगी, if you guys are living overseas, it's nice that if you can go back to your local politician या जोन भी है representative government rep, just say thank you for actually looking out for Fiji and for all the
Yes.
support that you've provided over the last few months.
For weeks, months, yes.
And same thing goes out to
Family and friends. Yeah.
and same thing also goes out to all the people that have been sending money. Every cent that comes into Fiji benefits Fiji, na? Because that was money that's basically money that
Runs
didn't
the economy
exist.
at the
So
moment,
it's like creating new money in Fiji, na? That completely helps the economy. It's like an export market, na? तब हम लोग के hopefully there's more spending power people के पास, and then they can buy stuff that they need and make their living somehow, na?
सो हमारी तरफ से गुजारिश है, थोड़ा सा हम लोगों ने इस 90 मिनट्स के अंतर्गत कुछ आइडियाज शेयर किए हैं. और लुक, एनी आइडिया इज़ नाइस आइडिया. यू डोंट हैव टू टेक एन आइडिया, यू कैन ऑलवेज लिसन टू इट, यू डोंट हैव टू लिसन टू इट. बट कभी कभी क्या होता है, देयर इज ऑलवेज टैलेंट्स अराउंड, देयर इज ऑलवेज पीपल अराउंड दैट हैव नॉलेज, दे हैव आइडियाज़, वो आर टैलेंटेड विद आइडियाज़. तो हम सिर्फ ये कर रहे हैं, वॉइस कर रहे हैं अपने ओपिनियन कि भाई ये तरीका इस्तेमाल करो, शायद ये नहीं होगा, या तो एजुकेशन के हिसाब से, हमारे हिसाब से शायद ये होगा ही. और ज़्यादा तौर पे जो जनता है, लाइक लॉट्स ऑफ पीपल, दे आर थिंकिंग दे शुड लॉकडाउन. Majority of them are saying lockdown, stop the spread. So it all depends. It's on it's on the government's hands as to what they decide. And उनको ऊपर भी कोई है, गवर्नमेंट के ऊपर भी कोई है. There's other ruling parties over outside the government, outside the country, because of all the debts they may be owing to any other respective countries. There may be some sort of a pressure on them as well. ये तो हम नहीं जानते, वो तो डीप पॉलिटिक्स है. एंड देयर इज पॉसिबली समथिंग आउट देयर बिकॉज एवरी कंट्री owes some sort of a money to any other countries, big countries, ना. तो उनका भी कुछ डर होगा. So we don't know the whole story about it. Nevertheless, Bhai and Kai enjoying hideouts from Australia and New Zealand. There's a bit of a comedy someone's actually putting in the program. Bhai or Kai. So in New Zealand, he's saying, Johnny Ali, you're full. Very, very sad. Let's take these comments on the screen to see the numbers. Use media to educate the people. Yes, they are.
That's true.
They are doing their very best, and people like us are coming and making awareness. And we're not here to solve tell the Prime Minister how to run the country, but we're just creating awareness so that some sort of a help reaches to all those, people that need help desperately. Johnny is saying that don't be surprised that China will invade. भाई चाइना इन्वेट तो करेगी लेकिन और भी देश है जो करने नहीं देगी. And one of the listeners are saying she has been helping Fiji for 37 years. My goodness. Maniki, in a sense of their families, And thank you for those lovely comments, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Raju, I think you've got another hookup and another interview going around. Okay, let's see. Yogesh was watching this program. Yogesh Samaru, which is very close to you over there. Samaya, he's saying, Bhai Param, most of the people in overseas who are originally from Fiji will not are not rich millionaires. Very true. Most of them are in a huge mortgage of ours. Very true. How can they buy Fiji? And this program was good and interesting. Thanks Ranjit for your contributions. Thank you Yogesh bhai. Thank you आपका comment के लिए. And that was just there was a joke, Yogesh bhai, on the different side. It's always good to have some sort of a joke, but you never know. Ideas तो float करने के लिए तो होता ही है. Look, Facebook started out from nothing and ended up in such a multi-billion-dollar company. So lovely comments, and unfortunately there's not many. Mukesh Narayan, stay safe everyone in Fiji. Thank you for that message. And that's all we can say. And we'll be again tuned in. And Ranjit, if you do know of any economist, I would like to ask some lovely questions, and I'll have to go through a library, and someone who can project, a good economist who knows what's happening as far as how the country economy moves, not Fiji economy, but how an economy should be run or how an economy moves. Just as an outsider, or even a politician who's inexperienced, stay outside and say, look, this is what we can do. This is how a country can run. We need to do some education and some sort of even people like us can get educated, कि ये GDP क्या है, ये लोग बकते terminology use कर सकते हैं. Let's educate the people. In closing, Ranjit bhai, आपके last words from your side, and thank you for your insight. It was quite wonderful, especially those graphs and seeing all those people, and it has been a pleasure. And your kind words as we depart.
Once again, thanks everyone for watching. I'm not an expert on things, but अभी घरे बैठे बैठे तो कुछ ना कुछ करके पड़े तो keeping myself occupied with a little bit of research, and again major thank you to all the contributors overseas से जितना जन भी पैसा भेजे, जितना भी भेजेगा कमती रही. That's the way I see things, and every cent will actually help us all. जितना भी पैसा आए ये ना कहीं use हुई, तो major thank you for everyone who contributes. And also अब कुंजी करक सी बीमारी आएगी से, and it's ऐसन बीमारी है कि there's no other solution to it. एक के solution है which is to believe in science. And science बोले है कि vaccination लगाओ, so believe in it. Risky है, I know there's a lot of scare, people के डर लगे, but नहीं डराओ, because
वैक्सीन से अगर वैक्सीन से नहीं मरा तो बीमारी से ही मरोगे.
हाँ, तो सेड हम नहीं मनता बोले, बट वही बात है कि अगर वैक्सीनेशन से नहीं मरेगा तो शायद कोविड से मर जाएगा. तो वैक्सीनेशन लगा लो, chances of
on that note,
sustaining the vaccination is very high. I mean, sorry, so yeah.
On that
So
note,
vaccination लगाओ.
हाँ, on that note, Ranjit,
हाँ,
अगर
sorry.
हम कह रहे हैं कि वैक्सीनेशन से नहीं मरा तो कोविड से मरोगे या नहीं मरोगे, इफ़ यू बच जाओगे कोविड से, इफ़ यू डू कॉन्टेक्ट कोविड, एंड इफ़ यू आर सर्वाइविंग the post COVID trauma, read about it, please. There are centers overseas being opened as we speak. India and all the other countries are making post COVID centers, which means you'll be having trailing diseases for the rest of your life. I will bring a program on that one day, and I think people should research about it. कि कोविड के बाद, पकड़ने के बाद आपकी ज़िंदगी क्या होगा? When you lose your taste, when you lose your smell, the side effects of COVID are detrimental than vaccinating yourself. Read about it and we'll come back on that, Ranjit, one day. It's a very interesting theory on that one. Yes. People आदमी बोले अरे पकड़ ली खांसी है ये. But of course, with the damages it does to you. खांसी नहीं है,
Yeah.
बर्बादी है. Well, my friend, thank you for your time. Anything else you want to say before you sign off?
That's it, yeah. Vaccination लगाओ. Be safe, stay safe.
और कल एक बेना लगाना, कल एक बेना बना Facebook में छोड़ना. 3 हफ्ता लॉकडाउन करो प्लीज.
जब तक बीमारी खलास नहीं है तब तक घरे बैठो, मेंटेन योर बबल्स, वर्चुअल कॉलिंग करो सबके, वीडियो में सबके देख लो, and yeah, just be safe, you know.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, my friend, and thank you for your time. And we'll touch again, and do keep me informed into the developments, and I will be coming as well. Thank you for joining in. All the best, Nisamode and Bulavinaka.
Thank you. और दूर से मांगो प्रणाम कर लो.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, that's Ranjt Raju. Ladies and gentlemen, he's in Fiji, and we will be in touch furthermore, giving you more information as to the developments of Fiji. Thank you for all those people that have joined in. Do spread this news to your family and friends. And there's a YouTube channel. It's called Fiji Indian TV. Do subscribe and share and like. And this page is for your awareness, your family and friends, your loved ones. So thank you once again for joining in, and take care. Be safe till I see you again. Keep watching this page, which is called Fiji Indian TV. And upstairs, press the like button. And once again, thank you for all those lovely comments, and keep safe, okay? Keep safe and help every family and friends that possibly you can in Fiji. And I'll be back shortly. Keep watching this page. We got programs. I don't plan. This is not a full-time job, but whenever I have time, I do make programs and I do contact people. तो आप अगर है, किसी तरह के details देना चाहते हैं आप, or you've got some sort of information, health है और फिर cosmetics है या तो whatever you have, and you would like to have a conversation with me, hit me up and we'll take it further from there. All the best हमारी तरफ से. Take care.